Poppy Carmen and Georgia Ballard have come back from their short stint as well.
I mean, Chloe Davis up to bat right now, but there was a time, James, when I asked you that question and it was a lot easier to answer.
Yeah, just the stock of South Australian players. I know that there's probably more out there, and I apologise if I've left you out. We need Jay Jensen to come back with the softball shout-out.
So a 3-1 game right now here in the bottom of the fourth. All the runs were scored in that big, third inning?
Third inning.
Knocked down the right side. It's a dribbler down the line and a base hit.
How are all the new players for Port Adelaide repping the big names from last year? We've got Callahan on the pitching circle. We've got Chillingworth playing right field and now standing on first base, and Grauer playing first base defensively. That's all the playing. Don't be fooled by the name.
It tricked me too. But Chloe Davis down.
Well, they're cousins.
Yeah, are they really?
They're cousins, yeah.
Well, there you go. So Chloe Davis standing on first base. Zoe Thompson now up to bat. She had an opportunity earlier in the game. She had runners in scoring position. She worked a walk, but the second inning was the first pressure point of the game. Bases loaded for Port Adelaide. They couldn't come through with a hit, and then West Torrens with 2 outs. Amber Hood knocks one to opposite field. Harris scores from first, a 1-0 game, and then Jess Maslin throwing down the hammer in the third inning. Montana Edwards, she did have a triple, which scored the first run of the game, and then Maslin a 2-run shot. Couple nice defensive plays, including a double play to stop more runs scoring from West Torrens. Jess Neves made a huge play to stop a run from scoring the last inning, and now we're at a 3-1 game as we've entered the last 25 minutes or so of the first contest of the CMAX Premier League season.
Yeah, great recap, Eric. You mentioned Montana. Montana tied the game up with her RBI, and that was big. That was big to tie up the ball game. It was huge from Maslin. So was a hit deep center field.
What Port Adelaide have done now in all 4 innings is get the leadoff runner aboard.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it earlier in the game, Eric. You can't ask for more than the leadoff for an inning or for the game to get on base. Port Adelaide have done that 4 times. I could be correct if I'm wrong. I think Chloe Davis played at the Hills Heat maybe for 1 or 2 games last year. So
good strikeout there from Harper Bridley, 1 down.
So some Premier League experience, but definitely a first A-grade start for Port Adelaide. Yeah, back to the top of the order, and Charlize Callahan, that's strikeout number 5 for Bridley.
Just that little blip with the 2-3-4 batters who are lurking right now. I think this is a huge out to get us. Charlize Callahan will deny that opportunity. The leadoff hitter with her second hit of the game, 2 for 3. And James, I was going to say that she was an important out because Neves, Edwards, and Maslin are lurking, and now just 1 out. In all likelihood, she's going to have to face Montana Edwards with some runners on base.
Well, they pulled off a great double play to end the last inning. They'll be hoping for some more heroics like that this inning, but with Neves seeing the ball pretty well, seen a lot of pitches in this game, a strikeout and a walk. Then Edwards, who balls come off the bat pretty well both times for her.
Strikeout, a walk, and a run scored for Neves, and a nifty defensive play that took a run off the board for West Torrens. Well, Neves has ticked her box of saying, yep, impact in game number 1, sure thing. Neves then pokes one out to the outfield. It's going to score a run. Neves will hustle for 2. It's an RBI for Neves.
Great shot from Neves up the middle, and just as I started to count the hits for Port Adelaide, another one just rattles off the middle of the bat. Marchek has to go to the backhand side, gets it in quick smart to reduce the damage. But the runners advance from first and second to home and third. She'll stand up at 2, and 2 runners in scoring position for Edwards.
5 different players have hits. 8 different players have reached base for Port Adelaide today.
Yeah, 6 hits, 3 walks. Port Adelaide look the goods this season. Don't know if there is a plan for West Torrens. I can see that their bench includes Jess Ryder.
She can pitch. Montana Edwards, though, up to bat. It's a 4-1 game now. These next two batters, Edwards and Maslin, massive for West Torrens to get out just to keep themselves in this game.
Well, don't think passing up Edwards is an option here, noting that Maslin is next up to bat. But with that triple she hit her last at bat, you'd be pitching careful.
Grounded. Kaesler scoops, fires across the diamond, holds the runner. That's a nice defensive play from Lana Kaesler.
Yeah, big play from Kaesler. She took it on the second bounce and fires it across to Baskai. She knew that the threat was there at third base, and that one slight hesitation from Callahan kept her there, and close by she stays at 2, and we've seen our first Lee Hull intentional walk for the season, and it's the home run hitter Jess Maslin.
Yeah, unfortunately it was for West Torrens. They probably should have done that. I know hindsight's 2020. The last time they had the opportunity to walk Maslin, they didn't. She hit a home run, made it a 3-1 game. It's now 4-1, but the bases are loaded for McKenna Smith, and as much as I would have loved to see Maslin swing it, that was the right call.
That's the percentage play. You've got McKenna Smith coming up to bat, who reached on an error her first time off bat and then struck out her second time at bat. So still relative unknown, but it's her third plate appearance for the club, and they're rolling at the moment. Momentum does a lot for a batter's confidence, and particularly with loaded bases and you're up by 3 runs. She's got a free swing at it.
One of the guarantees of a Premier League season, a C-Max Premier League season, is a Jess Maslin home run. It's a matter of when and not if with Maslin. Happens every year. I didn't think it would happen in her second at-bat of the season, but here we are. But yeah, great opportunity for McKenna Smith. She's reached on an error. She struck out. She has a chance to almost put this game out of reach with that right hit.
Yeah, well, I think with all the departures from Port Adelaide this year, I mean, some exciting arrivals as well, but the departures for Port Adelaide, you actually see how important Maslin is to that lineup, and she proves her worth today.
Off to right field, right into the glove of Jackie Beal, so it takes one pitch for West Torrens to get out of danger. They loaded the bases. Honestly, it could have been worse. They only allow the 1 run, and I know we're getting late in the game, but this West Torrens offense has the ability to turn it on like that, and they'll still have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, they're being outplayed here by Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide had left the bases loaded. They had a runner on base in the first inning, bases loaded in the second inning, scored 3 and left a runner on base in the third, and left the bases loaded in the fourth. So they've had plenty of opportunities. So offensively, Port Adelaide winning this game. Now offensively, West Torrens, they get their opportunity. They'll go round to the top of the order again in batter number 2, and Bill had a nice piece of the ball, so they really need to make something work here in their third time up at bat.
A big pump-up talk from the coaching staff down the right field line. So, I mean, it's a great game. West Torrens lucky to be in it. We know that Lee would have probably loved to be calling this one at all. Great to see his transition, though, James. I loved calling games with them for the last 8 years to turning into the voice of softball, though, beyond what this commentary was.
Oh, for years before Spacequake Sports, you couldn't get him away from a mic. I remember his good friend Dick Coombe once saying, you could invite Lee to anything and he'd turn up. He'd be at the opening of a birthday card, he'd say. But on the mic, he did a lot of MC work at opening and closing ceremonies for national championships. We used to do a Friday night function as well. The awards night, of course.
Jackie Beal up to bat.
And then game commentary as well, so ground announcing.
Yep.
So he would call, next batter up is number 41, Jackie Beal. And so he was a natural and obvious first choice to join our call team on Spacequake Sports.
Yeah, I remember that. I called the first game I called with Lee was on the back field on Diamond 2.
Yeah. Little did any of us know how big this initiative would become.
Yeah, it was sort of an innocent little venture where, you know, I had some experience with it, and you just sort of said, well, this is Lee. He's seen a lot of things, so just go have fun. And we did have fun.
He had seen a lot of things. We used to joke that he was around when Adam was a boy.
He invented the game.
Yeah, yeah. And gee, didn't he become a star of the screen, I guess you could say, or behind the screen at least. He very well known. I'll tell you a story in a moment.
Good at bat here from Beal just to hang in.
Last week at the Masters games, a player from Orange came along to the bar and was talking to our man Anthony Weatherstone and suggesting that her grandson always tunes into the live streams, loves the guy with the cheeky one-liners.
Well,
so
that's not me.
He's a hero to some.
It's not you, so.
Well, I was kind. He said the old guy with the cheeky comments.
Swing and a miss from Jackie Beal. Engler continues to hum along. 7 strikeouts for her, but now's the tricky part of the lineup. Harris has already been on twice. Hood's had a base hit. She's got an RBI. Kaesler's coming up. This is going to be the last crack that these 3 batters have, and showing her intent right away is Jordan Harris.
Yeah, aggressive after that first one. It looked like it was on the letters, but she took the opportunity to drive it opposite field, but she'll be able to reset, see another pitch. They really need something from this top half of the lineup as time is ticking away. No new innings with less than 5 minutes to go, but we've finished the inning that we start.
Wow. Bat speed looking okay for Harris.
Seeing it well, pulls this one foul. One's gone to the right, one's gone to the left.
Usually a good sign for a hitter if they're able to spray it in a couple different directions. See if she can nail that timing and square one up.
Well ahead of the count. Engler is in the position she wants to be and hits that outside edge. So plate umpire McDonald rings up Lambert and strikeout number 8 for Engler.
Sign of a great pitcher, isn't it? You know, Harris sees the ball really well on the first 2 pitches. They go down, unfortunately, as strikes. It still goes down as a strike. Doesn't matter how hard you hit them. And then just finessing a ball in the corner of that zone is Liz Engler. 8 strikeouts on her C-Max Premier League season debut here in 2023-24. Amber Hood up to bat. And that just changes the complexion of the inning, knowing that Lana Kaesler is not going to come to bat as the tying run when she comes up for her, what is likely her final at-bat of the game.
Well, it could go 2 ways here for West Torrens, couldn't it? They either have another 2-out rally, or if they get a 3rd out here, they've got to have a short, sharp defensive inning to get another go at it, whereas Port Adelaide will be in no hurry from here to extend this game any longer than it needs to go. In control here, 4-1 up.
Yeah, on that alarm clock set 4:25 on your dials is that time approximately. And the expression on Hood says it all. I can't wait to look at the replay on the C-Max replay.
Yep, strikes out the side here, Engler. It's that 2-strikeout change-up that Harris got as well. It's the top of the zone.
She's been buckling people. Well, Engler actually at the start of the game was attacking low, wasn't she? She was using that drop ball, and batters were chasing. They were swinging a lot through. Now she's getting batters looking by attacking the upper part of the zone. Engler was dancing down. She's going up. It's been a very impressive performance from Liz Engler.
Yeah, Engler just picking up where Yo Grauer left off, and she 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. Will be leading the league in strikeouts for this time of the season, but won't take too many games for other pitchers to catch up, I think, but not if she keeps on a roll like this, throwing it at 9 strikeouts an inning.
Well, James, you talked earlier in the broadcast about who you thought maybe it was a little more challenging for hitters at the start of a season because, you know, they haven't got their feel, their timing. Pitchers, they can just step in the circle, throw. It's all similar for them. Now, the other added wild card here is none of these South Australian batters have really faced Liz Engler much at all. She pitched maybe, an inning or 2 when she was here in her first stint, and that was 2 years ago. So at least Port Adelaide and a lot of the players have grown up facing Harper Bridley, and maybe they haven't faced her in 5 or 6 months, but they at least know the kind of stuff that she has, whereas still very much learning who Liz Engler is from an offensive perspective.
Well, Port were rolling with Charlotte Dobrozchek as well when Engler came for the back half of that season a couple of years ago, and And of course, Yo Grau is the starting pitcher in anyone's lineup when she's in town. So yeah, so she's filling some big shoes, and these Premier League teams will be seeing her for the first time.
Grauer will be making, well, she'll be pitching today.
Is she here?
She apparently is here, yeah. Starting today for Glenelg. They've got an import coming in.
Are they playing right now? Is the game happening as we speak, or are they playing at 5?
On the backfield? I'm not too sure, but I know they're not playing on this field. Actually, it might be the 3 o'clock game. We can see if we can get an update. But the that was the mail I got from Gary Brinkworth. Is a nice charging play from Harris across the diamond, 1 down. And Brinkworths are usually fairly reliable. But he said, yeah, Yo this weekend on Saturday, she'll come in, she'll pitch, she'll play on Saturdays, and they've got an import coming in next week.
Catcher?
A catcher,
Utility?
yeah.
Yeah, because of course they've got Jade Peterson.
Yeah. And Jade would be in the batting lineup today, by all reports.
Well, she played the Australian Masters games during the week, so she's got some games under her belt, whereas the rest of the team probably don't.
That's a nice little Saturday-Wednesday combo, though, going from Grauer to Peterson. It's a proven combination that's won before.
Oh.
Here's Angler, who is, for my marks, I know Maslin's hit that home run, but Angler's 9 strikeouts, and she's being clutch in the circle, only allowed a couple hits. Doubleheader today, though, on Spacequake Sports, James.
Yep, get to that in a moment. Ground ball to shortstop. Harris, 2 plays in a row. She has to come and get it. Keeps it tidy here for 2 up and 2 down. And, well, thanks to CMAX Clinical Research, we go around the grounds. Glenelg are playing Walkerville on the backfield at the moment. So it is 1-1 at the top of the 5th.
Is Chelsea Martinez pitching for Walkerville?
I'll let you look at
I'll do the around the grounds here.
The lineups, but yeah, double header on Spacequake Sports today in the season opener. We're going to see Sturt versus Seacombe in the 5 o'clock time slot. You're going to stick around and help out with the commentary.
I can do that. I can manage that. Yeah, it's a 1-1 game in the 5th inning. The only hit of the game for Glenelg has been from Tate Nicholson.
Who's throwing for Walkerville, did you say?
Throwing for Walkerville is Chelsea Martinez. 5 innings, 98 pitches, 1 hit so far. She's allowed the 1 run. How many hits do you think Walkerville have in the game with Yo Grauer pitching? It's a 1-1 game.
Well, not many.
The answer would be 0, so I'm not too sure how they scored the run.
So both teams have scored a run and there's been 1 hit in the game.
Yeah, correct.
Backhand play for Baskai. She's got to flip it over to Burridge, who takes it barehand, but Davis beats it out for her 3rd base on base for the game.
What a great game from Chloe Davis, but a nice little barehanded play as well from Burridge. Yep. Safe.
You giving that an infield single?
I don't know. I think an error to right in the E3.
Tough on Baskai, but she's using that fielder's glove rather than a mitt. Davis is on base with 2 out in an inning that Port Adelaide failed to get their lead-off on for the first time in this season.
It's going to eat away some minutes as well. Now, Glenelg they were, especially in the second half of the year, they were competitive in their games. I know they didn't win probably as many as they'd like. Their downfall was sort of inconsistencies in the field, and they're hoping that bringing over someone like Yo Grauer might help clean that up a little bit. Hard to lose, though, when your pitcher doesn't allow a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Grauer here in the top of the bottom of the 5th has reached. No, she was forced out. It was Courtney Shepherd has reached on a walk.
Good pitching battle on the back diamond. We're here, though, as Zoe Thompson. If she can chew up 3 minutes somehow in this at-bat, the game could be over. Important here for Harper Bridley just to throw some strikes, get the ball into play at least to give her batting lineup one last swing at it to come back in the game to, at the very least, try to tie.
Yep, they need this out right now. Otherwise, if Port Adelaide coaching staff want to ring a change, maybe slow the pace of the game down, now's the time to do it.
3-1 count, and it is a big pitch. Can't afford to put Zoe Thompson on. Swing and a miss. That's big. Full count, and yep, we are up against the time. 4:23 right now. No new innings after 85 minutes.
Well, Harper's in no hurry. She's gone back off the plate, same routine. 3-2 count, has to be this pitch. Can't afford a foul ball, otherwise umpire might call short of time here.
And a big strikeout from Harper Bridley. It keeps her team in it with a chance. Umpire checking the watch, but you know what? It's going to be fine, I think.
Oh, I've got 7 minutes to go on my watch. So that means we go again.
Yeah, 4:25. No new innings after 4:25, right?
Right.
So we have lots of time. So we have 1 minute. They got in 1 minute before the buzzer.
And that was Harper Bridley's 6th strikeout that did it. Full count with a runner on first, so a little bit of pressure on the young pitcher, but she was steadfast. She found the spot. The strikeout was called, and we will see a 5th and final inning.
Yeah, this will be the final sixth inning.
6th and final inning.
And this will be the final inning. And if, I mean, this is the top of the 6th. If West Torrens don't score here, there's no way they can win this game.
And the game will end. So they need 3 runs to keep it going for a tie, 4 to take the lead and give Port Adelaide a target.
But they've got to solve the riddle of Liz Engler, who has struck out the side on 2 different occasions today. She did it in the 2nd, she did it in the 5th. The last one was impressive. Attacked the zone low, early goings, high in the later stages. And she got Beal, Harris, and Hood down, who are not easy strikeouts either. And she throws that first pitch strike. She's been good at that today.
Yeah, Engler, I said it earlier in the game, perhaps the change of tactic for West Torrens is to get after it earlier in the count. That way you're not having to guess when that change-up is coming. It's buckled a lot of their batters today, and a bunch of her strikeouts have come looking as well from the West Torrens hitters.
Pitch up high.
Thanks again to CMAX Clinical Research for being the broadcast partner for the 23-24 season. And I don't know if you've been counting, Eric, it's the 80th year, the 80th season for softball in South Australia.
It's a long time. Anything special planned in year number 80?
Some big plans already taken place. Anthony Weatherstone, who is another close friend of ours that we'll be hoping is okay. A little health issue. I'm hoping just a hiccup earlier in the day. But yeah, there's some big announcements that he's been behind this year in the 80th season, including the renaming of the Premiership Shield. And some other awards have had some names go to it as well. So just the start of the celebrations of the 80th season.
How good's the vibe over at the bar right now? And just in general, the setup, the great work and community spirit to set up an improved experience for everybody that comes down here this year.
Yeah, again, thanks to Anthony and his team. For those that don't know, Anthony was named the Softball SA Volunteer of the Year last season, and not anything to do with his work as a board director, but everything that he does behind the scenes, which not many people will see. But yeah, the bar's one of those areas that he's made a lot more enjoyable, more sociable, and he's done a great job there. Hey, the 10th strikeout of the game for Engler was a change-up again on Kayser, and she watched that 3rd strike.
If you have a pitcher like this humming along throughout the year, it's going to be hard to lose a game for Port Adelaide. They've had some nice defense as well. You think back to when it was a 3-1 game and Jess Neves had to range over from short, throw a player out. But the big difference was that 3rd inning where Montana Edwards had a triple, and then Jess Maslin had the 2-run home run to put their team up 3-1. They did add another run, but 4 unanswered for Port Adelaide. They've had 8 different players reach base. It's been pressure all afternoon on the base pass, where Liz Engler has kept things under control in the circle. 10 strikeouts, and West Torrens Need to show some signs of life, otherwise their ball game will be coming to an end in just a couple minutes.
Well, time is against the game on Diamond 2, and the first result of the season's a tie.
Nobody's won.
A 1-1 draw between Glenelg and Walkerville. And Port Adelaide just 2 outs away from registering the first victory of the 23-24 C-Max Premier League season. Angler in full control, 10 strikeouts.
Make it 11. Liz Angler has struck out the last 5 batters she's faced. She is grooving.
She just found another gear late in this game. I mentioned she's probably had the best off-season or pre-season of anyone on this diamond playing through Europe. So all that experience would be helping the Magpies out right now.
I could be wrong, but like I don't think West Torrens is a team that strikes out a lot in general.
Yeah, good point. I got no stats to go by today. I didn't bring a stat sheet with me today.
But the eye test in the last couple of years certainly suggests that.
Absolutely.
Emma Burridge, the last hope. Got to extend the game.
Port Adelaide looking for some grand final revenge from last year.
Well, a win here would catapult them to the very early top of the table.
Well, I think
2 teams with a point.
I think in the same game last year, it was West Torrens that beat Port Adelaide in the opening game of the year.
Swing and a miss. 2 strikes. Can she finish the game with a dozen strikeouts and sit down the last 6? Up the middle. Scooped up by Neves. Ball game over. A wonderful performance from Liz Angler in the circle. Some big bats when it mattered from Port Adelaide. Pressure throughout the afternoon. And in the commemoration game for Lee Hull, it's his longtime club that comes up winners in game number 1.
Yeah, one of his clubs, and a great play there from Neves, firing it across on the C-Max replay for the final out of the game. What a complete performance from Port Adelaide. Yeah, sure, 11 strikeouts from Angler in the 6 innings. But as you mentioned, there was a bunch of players that had hits in the game, from Edwards, the bomb from Jess Maslin, 2-hit ball game for Callahan, as well as important on bases from Chloe Davis, the youngster, batting 8 and playing right field. She got a walk, a single, and reached on an error for her 3 plate appearances. Here's some of the highlights of the game on screen. There's a hit from Hood, and the first run of the ball game was West Torrens with Harris sliding in, but it was all Port Adelaide after that.
Yeah, it was the big inning that came right after this. And I mean, we did get to see some signs of life, though, from West Torrens, and you saw how dangerous Jordan Harris continues to be. This was her scoring all the way from first on a ball that was hit to the shallow outfield. So Harris, yeah, she's hasn't really changed her tune from other seasons at all. But yeah, it was Angler that has been tremendous. She got soft contact when she needed it the most. She got strikeouts, and she was able to neutralize the threat. But I think we'll see the highlights here that everyone wants to see if you missed it. It was that Montana Edwards going bang. Look at that opposite field as well. That's a great sign from a hitter early season.
Yeah, if you want to show the signs of what a good batter is, it's their ability to be able to hit all parts of the diamond. Edwards driving one opposite field, an RBI to tie the game, and then she was the go-ahead run on the 2-run shot from Jess Maslin. We'll see that up next.
Yeah, Jess Maslin was the batter that followed. She had a runner on third. There was an opportunity here for West Torrens to pass her up and put her on first base and try to flirt with the bottom of the lineup rather than contend with the perennial powerhouse bat of Jess Maslin. And hindsight is 20/20, because that ball was rocketed straight away center field and really was the difference-making moment in this game.
Yeah, Maslin, the pitch beforehand, fouled one off on a full count that sort of, she just tipped it a little bit, and she was showing her intent. She's not holding anything back here in the 23-24 season. and got one in her wheelhouse and drove it deep center field.
Well, that will do it for game number 1. We're going to step aside and get ready for game number 2 of the day, Sturt versus Seacombe. James, thanks for joining me. It was great to chat about a dear friend. Anything you'd like to say about the great Lee Hull before we sign off?
Well, just quickly, thanks to CMAX Clinical Research for being a partner once again this season. MC Sportswear once again, and Spacequake Sports for coming on for an 8th season. Our man Lee Hull probably would have tipped Port Adelaide, and he would have said repeat of earlier message a half a dozen times. But yeah, we're going to miss the big guy, and we don't know any details of a funeral yet, but I'm sure we'll make something public once we know. Our thoughts with the Hull family. You mentioned before Sophie, Hannah, and Josh, and all his grandkids. So he'll be missed by the Spacequake Sports crew as well, getting a nod from producer Brandon. We know that David was devastated with the news as well. So we're thinking of you. We love you, Lee.